Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Azapi here, back again with My Hero Academia Season 5. We are here to finish off the season because we still have a few episodes to go. And last we left off, we were actually in the midst of My Villain Academia, not My Hero Academia, because we are following the League of Villains at the moment and their current battle against the Meta Liberation Army. Which is definitely an interesting sort of phase of the show, really, because it's always been, well, it hasn't always been just strictly heroes v villains in, like, the sense of it's like one team versus another. We've had, like, sort of kind of characters that are villains to our heroes, but they kind of, like, have their own agenda aside from the League of Villains, if you know what I mean. So there's kind of been like kind of multiple teams scattered around where you've got like, you know, villains who are, you know, doing their own thing, teams of villains that actually end up going against each other, and that has actually happened in the past with the League of Villains not too long ago, obviously with Overhaul and everything like that. But at the moment we are in the battle with the Liberation Army, kind of rooting for the League of Villains right now, and it's interesting to say the least. And we are actually witnessing them get more, like, you know, basically power up with their, you know, obviously their current powers, and they're able to use them to a degree that, like, it is insane at the moment. Specifically with Toga, the fact of, you know, the blood that, you know, she takes from, you know, anyone and everyone she can turn into them, but powered up in the last episode actually was able to use Ochako's quirk, which is insane. That is absolutely nuts. She isn't in a great way right now after the battle with Kizuki, I believe, who's the one that was interviewing her, going by the name Curious. We don't know if Curious died. I assume not, you know what I mean, because she seems to be one of the sort of like the main you know, like villains from the Meta Liberation Army, so you know, I doubt that she actually fell to her death there, but we haven't seen her since she dropped. I mean, we've only really had an extra 5 minutes of the show after that happened, so I'm sure she'll turn up again at some point. But yeah, so Toga can now seemingly use the powers of the people of the blood that she takes. Now, it could have been a one-off thing where she went plus ultra, as opposed to like her actually knowing how it came across, like that desperate situation, like I guess just the desperation in general caused her to be able to do that. So I don't think it's going to be as easy as a case of like, well, she's going to be able to do it again. I imagine when she eventually comes back around after she's healed and stuff, because I mean, there's no way she's going to die, right? Surely not. That, you know, it could be a case of whether she just doesn't remember, or she recalls being unable to use Ochako's quirk, and, you know, she has to kind of get to grips with trying to train herself to be able to do that on command, I imagine. So yeah, but also we had Shigaraki, who also powered up, that just by touching one of the Meta Liberation Army sort of like goons, all of the rest of them that were in her vicinity also, like, disintegrated at the same time. So it was almost like an area of effect type power-up that he ended up having. But that came about by these images and flashbacks that he was having of what's-her-face? His grandmother, essentially, right? Yeah. So a lot is going on right now. The battle still is going on. We also have Dabi, who's fighting off against an ice controlling person, which is obviously interesting and ironic. But also the way that this guy uses ice is he takes it from like sort of like the immediate vicinity, and he's basically turned one into a dragon. So, you know, I'm sure we'll get into that fight as well. But we ended off the last episode with who was it? It's Twice, right? Yeah, Twice found Toga, and he's kind of in a bit of a crisis now. And one of the Meta Liberation Army, Chikazoku, I believe his name is, he's got an ability called Anthropomorph, which basically means that any object that is similar to human mass can be turned into sentient puppets. And what that guy has done is basically turned a lot of Twice's to go after him, which has basically put twice in this this predicament where he's probably going to have to fight off against himself again, which we know that he's been through that before. So we'll see if any of the other League of Villains power up in this episode. So yeah, and we'll see what we get. So as always, the reaction will be here on YouTube, but if for whatever reason it gets taken down for copyright in the future, I will re-upload this as a discussion only, and a link to the reaction will be in the description below. As always, the link to the full length is in the description below, so if you do want to watch my full-length reaction to this episode and all the other episodes I do, then the link is there for you in the description. But yes, nothing else to really talk about, so we're going to get into episode 22, see what we get. So without further ado, let's go.
Damn it, who are you? Are you me? You have my face, but I don't know you, do I?
Thanks to my company's microtransceivers and the comm system he created, he can control them with exquisite precision.
Thanks to you,
So that's where they got the information.
Take twice.
Kill Toga. I doubt Bubai Aurora will bounce back from that.
Damn it! Put her down! Toga! That's me. I'm trying to
Oh, they're going to snap her neck!
Why never do that? So who is it? Where's the real me? Is this really me? Who am I?
God, I can snap here. You need to be the savior right now, come on!
One of the most critical moments in my life was when I was 16.
That man you hit with your motorcycle has a broken arm.
Not my fault, he jumped in front of me.
Unfortunately, this will be the start of your criminal record. You can always pick yourself back up again.
Nice idea in theory. Some people trip and just keep on falling.
Fool! Do you have any idea who you ran over? An executive with one of our most valued clients. Is this how you repay me for giving you a job and a roof to sleep under? You're a curse!
Oh, it just went
My
from
parents
bad to
died
worse.
when I was in middle school. Got caught up in a villain attack, but I wanted someone to talk to. Hey, did I make a mistake
Himself.
with you? If you did, well, so what? Not your fault you were born with the crappiest luck. You know what a person who's circling the drain really wants?
So he just made more of
Easy
himself, and it just ended up being more of a crew of
At least
himself.
that's how I was. And I didn't realize how many wrong turns I'd made until I hit rock bottom. When I stopped being able to trust myself. Doubles I make disappear after receiving a certain amount of damage. Basically when they get the equivalent of a broken bone.
You know, if you used your quirk right, you could take on the entire country.
He never wanted that kind of power, though,
Find some
really,
people
did he?
who will trust you. There are plenty of people in this world who think the same way as you.
Come on!
No!
Grab his arms.
Break them.
Oh, God! They literally just said, like, with a break of an arm, though, right? So he is the real one.
Increase their strength. But even though it hurts, I'm not disappearing.
It means you're the real one. It's like unlocked him.
This for so long. Toga! I swear I'll save you.
Fucking hell.
Way you fakes.
You fakes.
You will fear me.
Oh, God.
Liberation Army. I'll show you the extent of my quirk.
Oh, God.
I need data and something to visualize for Double.
He was trying
I
to
don't
copy
have
the,
data for this. I'm afraid I'm not going to be helpful reproducing the Yakuza bullet.
I can do this.
He's so elated.
Let's go, Twice. It's time for a massacre.
God. Oh, my God. What?
Oh, damn it.
Infinite
A
doubles.
march of grief. Sad man's parade.
Holy shit! That is insane! That is nuts!
Right. I can say without hesitation I've only failed once in the past. Understand, just one time in my entire life.
He's pissed off.
So you take it back.
Alright, time for Davi to power up.
Power may be useful in the right situation, sure. But you've almost blown through all the ice in the area.
Mr. Compress, back up Twice are here to the rescue.
Oh, God. You wouldn't be able to think around them.
I don't get it, but it sounds like you're on a hero's journey, even though you're a villain.
Yeah.
What? Is it weird for a villain to save his friends? Not at all. Of course I won't let you die. I'm so cool. I'll make more of you guys, too. We'll be more than a league. We'll have the population of a city.
Unreal.
Let's go, city of villains.
What is this, some kind of ice factory around here?
It's more to my ability than simple manipulation.
Is that so?
He can just increase it?
I can control the temperature of the molecules too. Increasing your meta ability will be essential.
Fucking hell.
Your body already smells burnt. Determining your opponent's meta power is the most basic of tactics. Your scorched skin looks like it's about to fall off.
Whoa, we haven't seen that
Flames
before.
are consuming your own body.
The Ice User is trouble. He's the only one who stands out from the rest. He's exactly who we want to throw at Makia. Makia.
Oh shit! Oh shit! He's coming quick as well.
Shigaraki, how you holding up over there?
Concerned. The tower's close.
He's going straight for it.
And it's well guarded.
No surprise, I guess. Bloody hell!
An army now.
And since I can do this,
Shigaraki had some bloodlust there.
Incredible, Twice. Think you have enough clones to clear a path to the tower for me?
hold on, Giran.
God.
I'm coming. So, Twice is going to be able to handle this by himself.
The Liberation Army is playing with people's hearts. I'll make sure they suffer until their last breaths.
Oh god.
It's time! Dismantle our guest of honor! Crush the League of Villains! Liberate yourselves, my friends! Show the world that everyone is a hero! And that at the same time,
man.
nobody is!
Hanabata, damn it. Every time he talks, the soldiers out here get more fired up.
Kind of like a support
Can't let
ability.
him get more worn out. I can double lots of things, but it's much faster to make more of me. Because I know myself better than
yeah.
anybody. Better forgetting is why you pee your pants for
Shit.
That was Listen up, you guys. You're just copies of my real comrades, so even if you die, you won't be gone forever.
Don't make a copy of your leader just to kill him.
Repeat after me. Do you feel the same way or what?
Wow.
Holy...
Did you see what he did?
Don't ask me.
Ubai Gawara, if you make any more copies, Giran is dead.
We've got the advantage.
Get Giran back and we can leave.
Wait!
What the fuck? Did he just expand his arm? What the hell?
Giran! Your fingers, they really took them,
You can
didn't they? How could they do such a thing? I'm sorry.
I'm the one who should apologize. He got the info about you guys from my files.
Your little league just can't compete.
Sounds like you have a noble dream.
Ooh, fuck.
Still alive.
The real one?
Once there was a young woman who gave birth to a child with a meta ability. She pleaded with society on behalf of her beloved offspring. After all, he couldn't be blamed for how he was born. She never spoke out for him again, and do you know why that is, friend? I'll tell you. She was killed by those who oppose meta powers.
She came up with the term quirks.
Sorry, I heard you didn't have any formal education. They adopted the term quirks, said they were natural. It changed how people thought. However, in actuality, the political measures that were implemented suppressed meta abilities more than ever. What they wanted to squash was the use of powers. Meta abilities are quirks. We must use them freely.
His mother.
Sought true freedom through revolution, and now I will accomplish Destro's dream. His blood is in my veins. I am his descendant.
If you're gonna protect Giran, you'll need a cushion.
A cushion?
I was caught on the window with that first blast. A good vantage point. My eyes met his down below. He's here.
Oh god. Fucking hell. No, so it was his real one down there. That's what he's looking at.
So, you must be the Liberation boss.
I didn't get an answer to my question. Such a pity.
It's the end. Fuck. Okay, episode 22. Oh god. I can't believe the extent of Twice's power. That is insane. So that's what obviously Giran was talking about, really, is that, you know, if only, you know, Twice, like, he could essentially take over the country with the extent of his power, but he just never got to that point, because he never really wanted it, you know? It was never, like, more so than the others. Like, I've always felt like Twice is mostly there for a belonging. It's, you know, his crew that he cares about because, you know, they care about him. I mean, beforehand, he literally just had to create clones of himself to have his own crew, people to talk with. It's interesting getting that little bit of backstory there from back when he was only 16, and he knocked somebody over on his bike, and seemingly he had no real kind of guilt about it, seemingly that could just be through the fact that he's he's a bit of a teenager. He might have been just a rebellious teenager, so he's just that way inclined. But he stated that the guy jumped out in front of him and twice wasn't breaking any laws. I keep calling him twice. It's Ibugawara, right? I think that's the pronunciation. But I mean, I don't know whether that's true or not. Whether it is or not, he's a kid, he made a mistake. The guy wasn't killed or anything, you know what I mean? So it could have been a lot worse. But it ended up being worse because he was caught up in a... I mean, even before, people were saying that, they don't really like him because of his face. That he has, some, scary face, probably because he had a permanent, almost, frown on. But that person that he ended up, knocking over just happened to be... an important client for the job that he got given, and then therefore that one thing that was just an accident seemingly spiraled into total fucking meltdown, essentially, that just kept spiraling out of control until he got to where he was, where he is now, which it's crazy. I did like the first sort of testing of just having somebody to talk to. So that was his first instance of just having just one other person there, which is himself, so one other clone to talk to him, and then that sort of need grew, and he just made a whole crew of himself. And because the spiral kept happening, the basically just what he says is hitting rock bottom. That it's fucked with them mentally, and that's the thing is we've seen that specifically in this season, that with the Metal Liberation Army and their whole take on basically those with quirks and whatnot have kind of been outcasted, more so than others, and pairing that up with obviously the League of Villains going up against them and everything, and it allows that sort of way of thinking to actually have a logical, obviously, base behind it, because it is actually true. A lot of the villains that we've seen, a lot of their backgrounds tend to be that they were essentially outcasted because of their quirks that they didn't ask for, but just generally have some association with them that is more relatable to villains. I mean, even you can go back all the way to season 2 with what's his face. Let's see if I can find it. Shinso, and even you just had. I mean, that's the thing, is if Shinso was never really kind of at the forefront so much that he was doing well in school and has now afforded his way up to the hero course, that if that was just left untreated and after school, he could have easily become another outcast that everyone looked at him this way because of the way that his quirk works. People would be scared of him. He becomes an outcast, and he's just another one of the villains that turn out that way because he was treated that way by society. So you find that a lot of these villains turn to that side generally just because of something as avoidable as that. And I say avoidable, but really it's easy to say on the face of it avoidable, because but then you assume that people aren't going to outcast these people. You want everyone has to have this, you're hoping that every society as a whole accepts them. So it's not it's not a group of people who are fighting for these people, basically saying we need to stop outcasting these people who have these quirks, but then you've just got the general population that are just scared, and they refuse to change their mind about it. So regardless, like, hoping for society to change is a big deal, and I guess that's the whole reason why the Metal Liberation Army is fighting their cause. And you know, to be fair, you can't really argue with the intent behind it. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting going forward to see how this continues, because I mean, after this whole fight that goes down, I don't know like where they like kind of go from it, if they go out their separate ways or they remain in communication and help each other at some stage. I don't know. The heroes go up against the Metal Liberation Army at some point. I'm sure they will, but it is going to be interesting going forward. So yeah, great episode for Twice. He really was MVP this episode. The amount that he can create is insane. And I did like the fact of, like, it was brought up the idea that, you know, because obviously the Twice thing was seeded like way back when we learned about, you know, he didn't know if he was the real one or not. And so, like, this, like, when he first met Garen and whatnot, and he's basically saying a broken arm or whatever, and they'll basically just, you know, they'll turn into a puddle and they'll disappear. And he got 2 broken arms there, and basically that Chikazoku, he fucked up there. He fucked up massively, because if he just held Twice back, there was possibly nothing that he could have done. Like, he broke his arms, and therefore that one thing of knowing that he was the real one was what pushed him ahead to be able to save Toga and whatnot, and basically become this new Ibugawara. So yeah, and he uses the like his quirk in sort of combination with a comm system that was that was created. I think Redestro said that he created it and uses it in tandem, and Chikazoku, with the use of his laptop and whatnot, kind of plays with them in a way, like almost like it's like a game with him. And he was sincerely pissed off, because I mean, yeah, I mean, out of the Metal Liberation Army, the only real character that has fucked up there then is Chikazoku right now. So interesting. And he turned around and he was pissed off at what Redestro said, but Redestro wasn't taking any of it. Like he basically just went, yeah, he wasn't, you know, he wasn't taking shit from him. They know that, you know, Chikazoku knows that he fucked up, and that's why he's so pissed off. Yeah, so what else? I liked it as well when Twice had that realization that he was the real one, and he called them out, like all the other ones out, as fakes. It just reminded me of when Stain like shouted that out, like, "Come at me, you fakes!" You know what I mean? Because that was a similar thing. Twice said the exact same thing. That was just the first thing that came to mind. But yeah, it is. It's just like a cool line, you know. So yeah. We also learned as well that Shigaraki tried to have Twice copy a Yakuza bullet as well. Obviously, to be able to manufacture those things was something that was being done by the Shihei Saikai, but you know, the League of Villains have no real means to manufacture it. So obviously, trying to get Twice to do it is you know, the obvious thing, but. Basically, it was too advanced on the inside that he couldn't really copy it to at all, really. So, and then we went to the guy called Geten. So that's the dude who I think that's how we pronounce it, Geten. But if you know, if that's wrong, let me know. But yeah, so not only can he use the ice in the vicinity, but it's also like the extension of his quirk is that he can drop temperature anyway, so that, you know, he's basically just using the water supply throughout the city to use that. So he's got basically near enough like an infinite amount. So specifically there anyway, you know, in any city you would have that. You would be able to have essentially infinite of it. But yeah, well, I mean, I guess as long as it, because I think if you freeze the water and all of the pipes and everything like that, eventually the water would obviously clog up because it wouldn't get past the ice. So I guess, I don't know, you would use the ice, but if there's ice still clogged up there, I guess more water is coming in. So I guess it's not infinite, but it's a lot. Put it that way. Darby is confident though, and interesting enough as well, he actually, something we haven't seen before, Get In actually pointed out that Darby's quirk is actually burning himself, which is something we haven't actually seen before, and I'm wondering if that's a reason for the kind of the get-up that Darby's wearing. Like, obviously he has like these like horrible, almost like necrotic kind of like coverings on his body, right? That basically look like dead skin almost, right, covering certain parts of his body, and I'm wondering if that is like from like the result of his quirk doing that previously. I don't know, but I mean, you know, the connection that we've always had with possibly with like Darby and the Todoroki family and everything like that. Obviously, we know that is something that is that happens with the Todoroki family. You know, the heat is hard to sort of like contain, and it does like eventually hurt like the actual person itself that's using it. Shigaraki, yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell like he's really like, it's like he's on the verge of losing consciousness. He's like that tired. You know what I mean? He hasn't slept for so long, and now he's like, you know, he's been facing off against Gigantomachia and hasn't made some like, you know, made any real like progress in that regard against him for so long, and now he's going up against the Metal Liberation Army. It's like, Jesus Christ, the fact that he's like, you know, he's still going. I mean, we're going to get more in the next episode regarding like Shigaraki and fighting and whatnot, and how long he's able to keep going. We know that Gigantomachia is on his way and seemingly coming earlier than anticipated. The natural wake up was supposed to be about 1 hour and 5 minutes or something, but it looks like the doctor woke him up earlier to get him over there. So yeah, so I'm sure probably midway through this fight he'll come bulldozing his way through the city, and then God knows what's going to happen then. So we'll definitely be able to see then exactly how much damage that guy can cause, because having him out in the middle of nowhere, like, you can't really get a good grasp of how powerful he actually is. But in a city where he's able to just demolish shit, like, you can imagine. So yeah, that's going to be fun to witness. You can also see like the camaraderie as well, like a lot in the League of Villains, and you know, we've seen that like previously before, but I'm getting a real sense of it this time around, just even from like, especially from Shigaraki. I mean, we've seen it before, like in like you know, when Overhaul killed what's his name, Magna, is it? I think it was Magna, right? And took off Mr. Compressor's arm and whatnot. Like, Shigaraki was like, we're going to get like payback for them and anything like that. But then, you know, even though that was obviously, he's doing it for his crew and everything, you can see that there is also some kind of personal revenge also in it for that, because obviously Shigaraki is like, no, I'm the top dog here, like, you're not allowed to just come in and tell me what to do, kind of thing. So there's that as well. But here it's like simple as, like, you know, you can really see the camaraderie with Shigaraki there, and about playing with people's hearts. So, you know what I mean, you know that it's like, you know, he's fighting for his crew now. So I really like that. What else? Yeah, so that politician dude, what is his name? I'm sure I wrote it down. Where is it? Hanabata, that's his name. So seemingly it seems as though, I mean, Mr. Compress pointed out that it seems like whenever he talks, it seems to G up the goons and whatnot. So seemingly he must have some kind of support ability, I'm guessing, by speaking. Calling him like a politician, like, seems like he has some effect just by speaking. So I'm guessing that's what he can do. Redestro, we've seen a bit of his quirk, and able to kind of accentuate his body parts, or at least his left arm. That's all we've seen. But I'm guessing he can do that with any part of his body. So yeah, it's roughly similar to... Oh God, there's so many characters. What is the name that they call basically, like, it's like the older sister of Class 1B, right? Because she's got a similar quirk where she can extend like her body parts and whatnot. So it seems like relatively similar to that. Not entirely, I'm imagining, but you know, it's something along those lines. We've seen like his hand that went through the side of the building looked massive. So I wonder how big it can actually get. But yeah. And also like the Destro's mask kind of thing. So like obviously we've seen the illustration of what Destro kind of looked like via his like mask, right? And it's interesting because Destro's quirk, the kind of the effect that it gives off is similar to that. So I'm wondering if Destro's like mask or whatever, that was actually his quirk as well. Because obviously we know the quirks passed down. So it's like you would imagine it would be the case, but I don't know. I just thought it was like interesting. Obviously the similarities there, of course, because obviously before we didn't know. Like we heard from like Deku kind of doing a voiceover that Destro like had a sort of like a someone to carry on the kind of like the legacy or whatnot. And I remember saying or like asking, does that mean it was just somebody who like was his right hand man or somebody that he trusted to carry it on, or was it actually his son? And it turns out he is actually his son. So yeah, so interesting. Other than that, there was a lot of stuff there. I don't have time, unfortunately, to go into it like that much because otherwise I'll have to like go back and you know research and basically see exactly what was said, because there was something about the woman who was killed by by those who didn't like the idea of obviously the whole thing that Metal Liberation Army is about, and the woman who basically ended up coming up with the name Quirks and whatnot, which was interesting while I was hearing it, but I couldn't grasp enough of exactly what to like do an in-depth scale on that. So apologies, but I don't have time to go into it right now. So yeah, I mean that is all I've got for episode 22. But yeah, it was really, really funny, really interesting. I'm so happy that Twice has got like his power up, because he's always been that guy on the League of Villains for me that I've always liked, and I continue to do so, and it's insane his power level up. So I'm really happy to have seen that. So yeah, I mean that is all I've got. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below I've linked to certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there if you wish. And I also have a Patreon page as well, so if you do want to support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards there, like early access gives you access to shows a week early. There's the full length tier, which gives you access to the full length reactions to all the shows I do, and then there is the exclusive tier, which gives you access to all the full length movie reactions that I've done. So if you do want those, then that is the tier for you. But that's all I've got, so thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.